Season 2 has started off to a very tumultuous beginning. We are 1-5 in a division that is very competitive. All teams above us are sitting either at 4-3 or 4-2. We're down at 1-5. Changes need to be made, and we're going to talk about why in just a second. But I want to welcome you guys in to another installment of the Washington Commanders Replacement Squad series, where we're definitely going to be doing some replacements today. And as we jump on over to the stats to start, I do want to say or ask, what do you guys think about some of the new graphics? Obviously a new logo on the channel, a new little face cam frame thing around me. I'd like to hear what you guys think. There'll also be a new end screen at the end. But as we go through, let's talk about some of these stats on why we need to have a mid-season draft, essentially. The offense, for the most part, is fine. Tyler Huntley, we've made a change. He's no longer the starting quarterback. That's back to Jack Cohn, and it's for a glaring reason. 5 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, only completed 44% of his throws. That is awful. The rushing game, though, has actually been really good. Borghi, averaging 5 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns already this season. Huntley will continue to get some rushing situation snaps, but not a whole lot of passing for him moving forward. Marcus Turbin, the rookie, 4 yards a carry and a touchdown. And then the same with Hales, at least for average, for we saw a little bit of him in some of last week's games. So look to continue the 3-headed push with the, I guess it's actually more of a 4-headed rush with Huntley as well. So we'll look to continue that. In the receiving game, it can't be great because obviously the quarterback play hasn't been great, but we've seen some really good things from Manny Fox, so we'll hopefully see that continue throughout the rest of the season. Alton Campbell, rookie tight end, pretty sure he was our first draft pick of this series. He has 5 touchdowns. He leads us by far, so he's at least a red zone threat. He's only getting about 35 yards a game. Need to find a way to give him the ball a little bit more. Bo Melton may be in line to get back to the starting outside receiver spot. Stoner may also be in that situation. Justin Ross, who we brought in, I want to say it was last episode, or no, it was last Monday. He's had 2 pretty decent games, obviously only 3 catches, but all of those catches were in key situations. So we'll look to see if we could get him going a little bit more. Baca, he's had a start in I think about 2 full games, and he's recorded 1 catch. I think his time out there as a starter is well past, and we'll address the receiver spot again in our mid-season draft. But the biggest glaring issue on this team, if I go and sort by tackles for a loss, we will go through and you can see that there is no defensive tackle with a single tackle for loss. Cannot have that. We do have defensive tackles with a couple sacks, Cowart being the only guy who has 2. Shaka Toney is not off to as good of a start as last year, only 6.5 sacks, but we're a little bit before the midway point, so it would be a slight drop off from last year. I want to say he had 19.5. Keenan Dillard having a pretty solid rookie year. We'll continue to see him out there, but then Cowart down at 2, and we have Tonga with half a sack. So together, all of our defensive tackles have only gotten a tackle in the backfield, whether it's a tackle for a loss or a sack, 2.5 times. Halfway through the season, it is we can't have that. It's inexcusable. So the defensive tackle spot is going to be the primary focus of our mid-season draft. On top of that, I do want to also address the linebacker spot. Now, we technically have allowed the least amount of passing yards, but we also play shorter quarters, 8-minute quarters, while all the sim stats are for 15. So if you really did the math here, and I'm not going to, but if you did the math, we probably would actually be one of the worst defenses in the passing game. In the rushing game, we're already not even the best. We are actually 4th worst in the rushing game. So I want to address the linebacker spot again. We have maybe 2 guys who have proven that they could kind of stick with the team, but they are on the older side. So we can find some younger guys. We'll look to bring them in. So essentially what our mid-season draft is going to be is just us bringing in a large amount of either practice squad players from other teams' practice squads or just overall free agents. We've brought in a few guys here and there before, but it's not going to be as much of a massive change as we're going to see here today. Now, there was one receiver that I was really hoping would be available. Fortunately, he is not, and we're not allowed to make trades yet. Again, also not allowed to sign anyone over a 70 overall. So we're going to go in a different direction. Simi Fehoko. He was a part of our California only challenge, with the state only challenges we do, and he actually played really well. He does not get a lot of looks in Madden, so his progression really doesn't go anywhere. He's on the practice squad right now with the Cowboys, and he does have really solid hands, fairly decent, at least, spread of route running options that you could really take him in any direction we want. Release also fairly decent, at least considering who we have on our current roster. So I do want to bring in Simi Fehoko, and hopefully it'll be him and Bo Melton and Stoner who'd be fighting for one of those outside spots. Potentially, Simi Fehoko plays slot, and we move Fox to the outside. But that is the only change we're going to make to our offense. Just going to bring in one more receiver, and hopefully the quarterbacks sort themselves out. Defense, defensive tackle specifically. Again, like I mentioned, can't bring anyone in over a 70 overall. And there's a 25-year-old here in Naquan Jones who played at Michigan State. He is slow. He's only 3'13", 6'3", but he is very slow, very little acceleration. Doesn't have tremendous strength, but he does have 71 power moves and 76 block shedding. Don't think he would be a starter, but we're pretty much rebuilding the entire defensive tackle group, so we're going to bring in Naquan Jones. And he actually has fairly decent awareness and play rec, 73 and 70 respectively, with fairly decent tackling as well. Tackling has been a little bit of an issue for us. Good injury, so he shouldn't get injured all too often. Hopefully, he'll be a good rotational guy for us. Now, another guy I want to bring in who's going to be towards the top of the overall, or actually at the top of the overall we're allowed to bring in, is Christian Covington, who is a 70. He's going to have a lot more speed and acceleration than the previous guy. Again, doesn't have a lot of strength, but he does have 71 power moves and 75 block shedding. Again, just trying to find someone who could at least record one tackle for loss. So we're going to bring in him as well. He's on the older side, 29 years old, but he does have good play rec and pretty decent awareness as well. And the last guy to the defensive line group we're going to bring in is Everson Griffin. He's struggled in real life with some mental health problems the last couple of seasons. Hopefully, he sorts that out for himself. Really love Everson as a Minnesota Vikings fan. He's been fantastic, but I hope he gets the help he needs. For this series, it's like a comeback, so, it makes a lot of sense. And he does have some block shedding ability with 76, decent power moves and finesse moves with some speed, acceleration, a little bit of some strength. He will basically be taking over the role that Kingsley Keke was trying to do for us this season. So we'll bring in him as well. Now moving over to the linebacker spot, there is Monty Rice, who is available again 70 overall at 24 years old, so he also has a lot of room to improve. Comes in at a pretty decent size as well, 6 foot 233, and he has a okay balance between coverability and block shedding. They both need to see improvement, but he has some raw athleticism. That's kind of what we've been going for with our linebackers. Injury is a little bit of concern, so we'll definitely need to bring in some other guys, but I do want to bring in Monty Rice, who's just a free agent. On the open market, we'll bring him in. And another young guy, but also fairly lower on the overall, but has some intrigue, is Darian Butler, who played at Arizona State. He said he's very young, 23 years old. He's only a 62 overall, but he has a very similar block shedding coverage ability to what we just saw with the previous linebacker. Just need to work on his awareness and play rec and some of the other skills, but I think he'll be at least a young guy we could try to build with. Now moving over to right outside linebacker, there's Kaliki, is maybe how it's pronounced. Kaliki Hudson, who played at Michigan. He's 5'11", 224, so a little bit shorter, but he does have a lot of speed with 87, 90 acceleration. Block shedding needs some work. Zone coverage sitting about the same as the other two linebackers. Again, he's on the younger side, 25 years old, has some room to improve. And we're just going to try to bring in the guys that have the possibility to do just that. And at the left outside linebacker spot is Jermaine Carter Jr. He's on the older side, 28 years old. This would kind of be like his last hurrah of trying to make a roster. He will come in with one of the better block sheddings while still having that same 68 zone coverage. Awareness is okay, 66. Play rec is better at 70. Not as much room to improve, but we still need a solid guy out there, so we will bring him in as well. And for a little bit of a flyer of a pick here, we're going to bring in Antone Brooks Jr., who's listed at strong safety. He's 5'11", 210. He's a little bit on the lighter side. I want to move him to linebacker because he does have some decent block shedding. If I can only find it, there it is, bottom left, with 67 block shedding. Cover ratings similar with some of the other linebackers we brought in. Does he end up looking good out there? Hard to say, but we're going to take a shot on him. He's just sitting in free agency, so why not? Now that does leave us 10 players over the 53 that we're allowed. So we're going to have to make some cuts. And the first place that we'll look to make a change is going to be at receiver. I think we're going to try to make room on the practice squad for Jesus Baca. He just could not get open at all. We've seen better from some of the other players, even Eric Dillon, who really hasn't seen the field all too often. So if we take a look over at our practice squad, I'm pretty sure we're going to need to make some room here. And I really don't feel like we need anyone less than a 60 overall. So we will release a center in Zahn, which is a fun name. And now Baca could take his place on the practice squad. It is a possibility that he does get picked up by another team, but we gave him a shot. And if he does get picked up by another team, then that's kind of the point of this series. Give these guys a shot in the NFL. If they don't make our roster, maybe they might make another team's roster. Over at the right end spot, Kingsley Keke, we've tried, and he's not recording any stats at all, so we are going to be releasing him. Now, Tonga, 27 years old, he's really hasn't made any splash plays, so we're going to release him as well. We gave him an opportunity. He's had 7 games to prove himself. He hasn't done anything, so we will be releasing him. Now, Christopher Hinton, we did give a shot to start. I want to say it was last episode. He didn't get any stats, but we'll let him stay on the team, see if he can develop into anything. That leaves us with 4 defensive tackles. Byron Cowart, we're going to keep on the team because he's the only defensive tackle that has produced for us. And we also have Naquan Jones. So we have plenty of options at the defensive tackle spot. At left outside linebacker, we have been starting Micah Kaiser. We just brought in Jermaine Carter. They're the same age, about the same overall. I'm going to release Kaiser. Now, while some of his ratings are a lot better, like almost 10 plus in the tackle spot, block shedding about the same, the cover ratings are in favor of Jermaine Carter. So we're going to go with the most well-balanced guys that we can. So Micah Kaiser, he's gone. That also still leaves us with Tanner Muse, who was on the team last year. He has a lot of speed, but just doesn't have the block shedding ratings quite there, nor the cover ratings. He is younger, so we'll keep him on the team to help him try to still develop a little bit. Now at middle linebacker, Oren Burks has been playing pretty well for us, but I do want to compare him to what we have with Monty Rice, who is 4 years younger. So from an athletic standpoint, speed and acceleration about the same. Agility is a lot better with Oren Burks. Change of direction, also a little bit better, but less strength. Going to have less awareness and less play rec, which is surprising. He has less tackle ability, less hit power, less block shedding. He technically has better pass rushing ability, and cover ratings are a little bit better, but nothing too dramatic. I think we go with the younger guy. Someone who can grow with the team. They're the same overall, so we'll stick with the younger guy. And Oren Burks played pretty well for us early on. He's made a couple plays here and there, but it's time to let someone else come in. And of the 4 remaining, I think the odd one out is going to be Traven Howard. He has some of the better speed and acceleration compared to everyone else of this group, but he has 62 block shedding, which is less than the 62 overall Darren Butler, who is also younger. So Traven Howard we will release as well. As for the safety that we brought in, planning to move him over to linebacker, he comes in at a 64. So how does he compare? About on par from the athletic standpoint. Strength actually isn't even the worst. He's the second strongest. Awareness, again, second best. Same with play rec. Tackling is going to be the lowest. Block shedding, actually, again, second best. And cover rating is actually the worst, so that's kind of funny. But I think he fits in there pretty well. And because he does fit, I think, again, we go with the younger, and Joel, who really didn't get much of a chance to play, I think we're going to move on from him as well. Now, we are still over the 53, and I think Zuniga is going to have to leave this team. I really don't need 4 guys at left end. He really hasn't gotten a chance to start a whole lot because other guys looked better. He does have some decent ratings, but at least for now, I think we're going to go with a different direction. So Zuniga is gone. And for the last move, we're actually going to end up releasing Ron Sears from the practice squad. And taking his place will be J.R. Bradshaw, the rookie right guard, after he brought in a new starter. We don't need 3 left guards, so we will make that adjustment, and that does give us down to the 53-man roster. So now with all of those changes, a lot to the defensive line, a lot to the linebacker group, it's time to test them out against a Saquon Barkley-led New York Giants. And our new look defense will be up first as we get this game kicked off at MetLife. Ball right to the goal line as they return it. It'll actually be a fairly decent return, about to the 27-28. Now, no longer is Danny Dimes the quarterback here for the Giants. It is Jacoby Brissett, the Madden franchise legend. As they go with a run down the middle, Saquon with a gain of about 7. And we should be getting a look at just about every single new defensive lineman, as Hinton and Jones will start in the base package, or the 46 and the 52, as Saquon tries to stretch to the outside here, stopped after a very short gain, about 1 yard, maybe 2. And whenever we go to the nickel, we'll have Covington as well as Griffin play the rush DTs. So we're going to see a lot of them. As they go with the pass to the outside, dropped by Bellinger. Don't see him do that too often in franchises. We'll force a punt. As for our offense, not much has changed, but we are giving Simi Fehoko the start on the outside. He'll be the right receiver in this game, as we're going to start with a Borgie run to the outside, gets by the linebacker, and will be a first down run, gain of 11. We've seen him do that a lot, and hopefully we're going to see him continue to do that. They do have Dexter Lawrence in the middle, as well as Chase Young to the right-hand side. So we'll need to keep an eye on those two, and it might change a little bit of how we end up attacking this team. Going to need to roll out here and end up turning up and maybe getting about a yard or so. Cone actually ends up squeezing out 3 on that, so not too bad as we bring out the heavy set here. 2 tight ends and the fullback. Turbin checks in as we try to find some space down the middle. Another solid gain of 4. And as I mentioned early in the episode, I do want to give Alton Campbell a lot more looks. So on 3rd and 3, he's going to be the first look here. They do cover it pretty well. We have Borgie to the outside, and he'll get the catch, and not a whole lot more after that. But yeah, I do want to see him get open a little bit more, and I'm going to change his route here to be a delayed fade instead. See if he could leak behind Simi Fehoko as he cuts to the left-hand side. Although Fehoko does have a little bit of space, and I will be honest, that was not thrown to Oliver. But I will take the short gain. I actually meant to throw that to Fehoko, but the hit took almost all the strength, the power, out from behind that throw. We'll get another gain of 2 here on 2nd down. We'll bring up 3rd and 6. And we'll change up the formation a little bit here, as it looks like they might be bringing the safety blitz to the left-hand side. We'll slide the line that way. We brought in Hales as Borgie needed a little bit of a breather. See if anyone gets open here. How about underneath goes Manny Fox, and not able to get around Thibodeau, who dropped back in coverage. I guess for some reason they've taken the Vikings' way of taking their best pass rushers and putting them in coverage. But I'll take it. 1st and 10 here. We're going to have actually Zig to the other side. That's going to be Hales. Nice throw there by Cone. A cross body as he was flowing the opposite direction. However, Cone did need a little bit of a breather after that play, so Huntley's going to check in here in the run formation for him. A little bit of some read option here. So he will apparently not hand it off, despite me telling the game to do so. It'll be a loss of 1. And on 3rd and 4, we'll spread wide here. We got trips to the right-hand side, 1 off to the left. But we're going to hand this one off to Borgie, who has some space to the right-hand side. Great blocking from the receivers. We'll spring him for yet another first down run. Now, Campbell has been a great red zone threat for us. We're a few yards outside of the red zone, but we'll see if his corner route will take him there. No, the safety actually, or not safety, the corner drops back takes that away, and Lawrence will get the sack here as Cone tried to step up, scramble, but obviously didn't work. So instead we'll have a 2nd and 14 as the defense shifts some guys over to the right-hand side. Can we get Campbell down the seam? He has the space. Can we put it on him right down the middle? And that is the 6th touchdown, 6 points on the board as Campbell puts us up on the end of our first possession. Well, I'll say so far, plan's working out pretty well. Defense got to stop first possession. Offense scored first possession. Now, can we just keep that going? Consistency has been the problem with this team. On first down, give up a catch for 5, but a pretty quick tackle. Pretty much all new starting linebackers as well. The only remaining guy is Cashman, who's back there to break up the pass. They'll credit that as a forward pass. Would have preferred, obviously, the sack fumble, but it's fine. 3rd and 5 here, bunch to the right-hand side. We bring out the double A-gap blitz. Shakatoni gets a little bumped off the line and dropped. Good coverage there, I believe was Amadi. So our second possession of offense kicks off the second quarter. We start back at the 26 with yet another run. Borghi tries to cut inside, and it might have cost us. But actually the holding was on the left guard, so actually I don't think it was much of Borghi's fault there. We will go with a pass here on 1st and 20. Trying to find some space. Cone gonna have to roll out. Might just need to step up here, get what we could get, and not slide down. Ball pops up, but Borghi with the catch almost will keep possession for our offense. And that is why Borghi is our MVP on the offense. I have started an Instagram you guys can follow. I'll leave that linked down below. But pretty much I've decided I'm gonna start making some like football cards for each of the players. And there'll be 2 awarded at the end of each game. You guys can let me know by commenting down below who the player of the game was, or player of the week was, on both offense and defense. That'll help me out. As Oliver gets, I think, his first catch with the team. He came back last week after being injured for a majority of the beginning. He did technically start the season as the #1 tight end, but clearly Campbell has taken over that spot, so he's been relegated down to the 2nd guy as we try to get Huntley around the corner, but great pursuit there by Chase Young. So on 2nd and 14, let's change it up a little bit. And by change it up, I mean quite a lot. We come out with a spread look here. Going to try to get Stoner on the wide receiver screen, but Thibodeau just slaps that ball down, and we'll have 3rd and long here, sitting just before midfield. Is anyone going to break open here? We're going to have to roll out once again, and will be a sack. This drive ruined by Chase Young. We do at least get a nice punt, starting them back at the 17 as they come out bunched to the right-hand side. 1 lone receiver to the left. Bellinger comes in motion as a lead blocker, and just some fantastic vision there from Barkley. We'll get a 1st down. Still waiting to see the first big play by one of the new defensive additions, but as a collective, they've played pretty well to start. We'll have another bunch to the left-hand side. Cashman will have to pass off both the coverages to the same guy. Monty Rice really couldn't choose. So it'll end up being a nice gain on 1st down, setting up 2nd and 4. So we're going to bring down the corners here, a little bit of press coverage. Bringing the blitz. Shakatoni is going to get his 1st on the day. Would love to see some more multi-sack games from Shakatoni, get him back up to about that same pace he was at last year with the 9.5 as they set up the screen, but there's a sack. Everson Griffin, 1st sack from one of the new players that we brought in. But as we were talking about, the Instagram new, like I said, link down below after every single game for all of our series, so both the Commanders Replacement Squad and the state-only challenges. I will make and post the Player of the Week cards. There also might be some other ones, like I've already made the offensive, why can I not? Offensive MVP and defensive MVP. There's also going to be a Rising Star one as well, fan favorite. And if there's any other ideas you guys have, again, feel free to leave those down below, but definitely comment at the beginning and whenever you see a player that you think deserves to be the Player of the Week for both offense and defense. Make sure you're letting me know. Also, the highlights that we also post as the YouTube Shorts or over on TikTok, those will also be posted on Instagram. So if you prefer to use one of those platforms, it's all there for you. Nice passes. We find Justin Ross here on the rollout from Cone, who's been pretty accurate today, 7 of 8. Granted, one of those completions we got lucky because it went to a guy that we didn't actually intend to throw it to. Go with a little RPO here, but another flag down. And that time it was actually on Alton Campbell, the tight end, so it'll back us up 1st and 20 back to the 32 as we bring out Tyler Huntley once again. Cone needed a little bit of a breather. He's been taking a lot of hits today. Huntley gonna step up, maybe find Oliver, who does get his feet down in bounds. Nice catch, also stops the clock. So with that extra little break there, Cone heads back out as we come out with the heavy turban offense. Down the middle we go, not quite enough for the first. Williams able to stand up, Turban at the line to gain. And we're going to run right back at him. Down the middle we go. Turban almost powered through. Tackle there from the safety keeps him out of the end zone. And on 1st and goal, under 20 seconds left here in the first half. We're going to need to roll up. There comes Thibodeau. The tackles have not been holding up extremely well in this game. And unfortunately, we have some of the best available tackles that we could possibly have. Let's just stretch Fox's route just a little bit deeper, try to get him towards that back pylon. As we're trying to step up, move around, and another sack from Thibodeau. Is that his like 3rd, maybe 4th? Well, on 3rd and goal here, back at the 22, 9 seconds left. Look for maybe Campbell towards that front pylon. We're going to have Borgie help out on that left-hand side. As Alton, one-on-one with the linebacker, and Cone does it again. That throw was absolutely perfect. I hope they give us a replay of it because he fit that in the tiniest window where Campbell would actually be able to get his feet down in bounds. We take another look here. No one in the pocket. Easy time to just wait, read, and just delivers that just past the linebacker. And Campbell's in for his 2nd of the day. Unfortunately, our kicker a little too busy focusing on celebrating rather than kicking the extra point. So we're only up 13-0 right now, but we've allowed -6 passing yards. I don't even know how that's possible, but the defense, with all the new guys, they're looking pretty decent today. Hopefully that continues as we take a look around the league with the Panthers up by 3 against the Jets, 17-14. As we move on to our 2nd game update all the way down south in Miami, as they lose big to the 7-1 Chiefs, 38-17. Miami Dolphins drop to 4-4 on the year. And the last studio update we have are the Colts and the Tennessee Titans. That game tied 7-7 as we move towards half. Titans only 1 loss on the season. Colts trying to stay above 500. But as we focus back in on our game here, we're up 2 possessions, looking to widen that lead as we're going to start with a little bit of some heavy run to start with. 8-yard rush here by Borgie. We'll mix in a little bit of some read option here with Cone. He does have some ability to run. Obviously not going to be as good as what we have with Huntley, as that was almost a little bit more of a pass rather than a pitch. Interesting animations. And on 3rd and 3, we'll bring out the Huntley formation here. Hales checks in, and I think this is just a formation I'm going to keep Hales in, just so he does get some rushes here and there. We'll get the rush to the outside here. Good block again from the receiver. That was Justin Ross. And if we could keep getting some nice blocking from our receivers, that's only going to help us get some better runs to the outside as we do spread wide here. Have to give it to our guys eventually. Fox with another close play on the outside. Also, only the 2nd incompletion on the day for Cone. He's been starting off really well. Hopefully, again, that continues as we go with a little bit of a read option. Borgie try to find some space. Quick crash there from Lawrence. And on 3rd and long here, we have Ross going deep. Doesn't get the break. We do have a guy to the outside. That's Campbell. Can he turn the corner? No. Good tackle there from the linebacker, but Thibodeau comes up a little shaky. And as he heads to the locker room to get that checked out, we'll head out on 4th and 4. 2 receivers either side. As we sit in pistol, going to need to roll out. We had Fox for a second, and we'll just about get by the linebacker, but Tranquil knocks it away. It'll be a turnover on downs. I will say, though, still a really good throw from Cone there, just to barely fit that into such a small window. As they go with a play action pass, I bid on it pretty well. They'll dump it off underneath. Bellinger will get a gain of 3. That was also only the 3rd completion for Brissett on the day. He's 3 of 6, so though they're just They haven't had a lot of offensive plays, although this one's going to work out well for him as Saquon Barkley gets them on the board. Well, we were looking to widen our lead to start the second half. Instead, it's been narrowed. Just a 6-point game as we start again with Borghi with some room to run. Gets by the corner with a little help of Justin Ross trying to get down the sideline, but cannot outrun Adoree Jackson. But a huge run, averaging 8 yards a carry. Got to give it a little bit of a shout out to the blocking on the outside there. Really helped spring us as we bring in Turbin here, who will get down the middle. Another nice run, about 6 yards. He, however, not averaging a whole lot per run, but they've been solid down the middle, getting the yards when we've needed them. As we're going to go with a pass here, we wanted to go for, obviously, Oliver. Looked like he was open. The corner on the outside dropped back. Luckily, the interception was dropped, but unluckily, we had yet another holding call. So 2nd and 14 as we bring out Huntley here and Hales. Going to motion over Oliver once again. Go with a little bit of some read option. I know we could definitely get by Williams. Can we get the juke? No. Solid gain, though. And on 3rd and 3, we could spread them wide here to help take out some of the guys from the box, leaving only 5 with 5 blockers. Leave enough space for Borghi, who gets to the outside. Does not get the last juke there. Good tackle by Love in open field. But the question is, can Campbell get a hat trick today? We'll maybe look for him down here. So we're going to go underneath Fox with, I think, his first grab, or maybe second grab of the day. Gets us close to yet another first. We will bring out Turbin here, though, on 2nd and inches. Heavy set formation as we get down the middle. Once again, give us the yards that we need. And on 1st and goal, let's motion over Oliver. Try to bring down that safety. See if we could get Campbell over the top. I feel like we're kind of forcing the ball a little bit to Campbell here today. They actually cover him pretty well. All of it's actually covered pretty well. As Cone tried to scramble, you can tell he got a little scared there when the linebacker stepped up. Will end up being a short gain, I believe, maybe just back to the line of scrimmage. As again, we're going to motion over Oliver here, hand this one off to Turbin to the left-hand side, avoiding the 2 superstar guys at the right. With a little bit of a lead block, Turbin cannot power through McKinney. On 3rd and goal, sticking out with that heavy look, but we will go with a pass. They cover them all pretty well. Cone going to look to scramble once again, and this should be an easy step up. He just walks into the end zone. No hesitation that time, as we do finally take that 2-score lead back. And after the missed extra point last time, we're going to go for it here. Maybe Campbell could get a 2-point conversion. No, we'll swing this one out instead. Borghi, that pass a little bit behind him, but luckily, no defensive guys out to the right. Now we have a nice 2-score lead. Well, right now I think I know who I would vote for the offensive player of the week, but defensively, I'm not sure yet. Haven't seen any particular player standing out. Nice tackle there in the middle. Won't be a tackle for a loss, but a pretty quick stop. And on 2nd and 9, they'll spread wide here. Got 2 to the right, 1 to the left as they drop back to shotgun. Will be another handoff. Barkley down the middle. Solid gain, setting up 3rd and 3. But we'll get to that 3rd and 3 at the start of the 4th quarter. We've only allowed 7 points this game. And it was all after a turnover on downs in the 3rd quarter. Defense just needs to continue playing well as they already have today. Although really good blocking here as they're going to find Sterling Shepard right down the seam. Actually, I stand corrected. Not Shepard. I forgot he's no longer a part of the Giants. That was Zacharias or something similar to that. Shakatoni off the edge. Quick throw, though. We'll find 18 with the first down as he cuts back towards the outside, down to the 32. I feel like I'm noticing a little bit of a shift in the passing style that the Giants are going with here. Going with some more quicker, try to get the inside leverage. So if we could manage to maintain that inside leverage, we might be doing just fine as Shakatoni's back for 2. But there is a flag down. And we could go ahead and decline the holding. So sack good. It's basically back to the same spot anyway, just instead it's 2nd down here. As they go with another curl route to the outside. Number 17 with the grab will make it a more manageable 3rd down. Still need 11.1 yards for the first as they come out with 3 to the left-hand side. Bellinger, the tight end, to the right. Cashman will have to help out in the seam here, but they go with Bellinger on the drag route, and he's going to get the first down and a good chunk more, down to the 15. Tell the defense got a little lax in their coverage there, and definitely cost us as they come out here with a fullback I formation, get down the middle. Saquon, nice run. With his big chunk run on his touchdown earlier, he's averaging 10 yards a rush, so need to find a way to limit that as the rest of this game goes along. Saquon Barkley down the middle trying to get his second, but dragged down at the 1. That was Jones, the former defensive tackle of Michigan State. Probably shouldn't mix those ones up considering they're a rivalry, but Saquon down the middle, easy running, and they'll grab yet another touchdown. All of them going to Saquon, but we still have at least a 1-possession lead. Now we just need to play some smart football here and drain this clock. Huntley comes out as we're going to motion over Oliver. Hales will get the handoff to the right-hand side here. Try to see if maybe we could get to the outside, which we do. Cut back, doesn't quite work. I tried to find a block there with Bodden, but will only end up being a gain of 2 as we switch it up here. Go with a more heavy set. Turbin checks in, have a lead block, has some space. Juke will help us get a couple more yards. Still need a few inches. And for that, we'll bring out Borghi, sitting back in the pistol formation. Be a strong side run down the middle. Borghi stays on his feet. We'll get a couple extra more. He just needs about 3 yards and he'll break a century on the day. As we go to that right-hand side yet again, try to cut back towards the middle, and there's maybe 3 inches. Now on 2nd and 9, can we catch him sleeping here? Try to go with that receiver screen once again. Try to go with it earlier. Got swatted down. This time we have some lead blockers, and Stoner will get about 4 out of it. First timeout here called by the Giants. Now a first down here just might be game. 3rd and 5. We just need 5.1 yards. We have all the space we need to the outside. Once again, the receivers come through for us in the running game. Second timeout called. We can milk the clock from here. And as time ticks down here, we're going to send out the field goal unit to make it a 2-score game. About 25 seconds left on the clock. And now under that will be game. 24-14. And in the first action of this new defense, pretty much, we allowed under 100 passing yards, under 100 rushing yards. Already major improvement. We had about 180 rushing yards, 140 passing yards. Cone played really well on offense. He's my pick for Offensive Player of the Week. And on defense, I got to go with Shaka with the 2 sacks. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. Well, that's not too bad of a way to start off with almost an entirely new defense. Really just the cornerback or the defensive backs and 2 edge rushers. The only ones that stayed. Most of the linebackers switched over. Most of the DTs switched over. So good first showing. They only allowed 2 touchdowns, and that was to Saquon Barkley. I mean, pretty high overall rated running back. They will be tested again next episode, but more so focused on the speed that Miami has. They are 4-4. Tyreek Hill will most likely be matched up part-time with Amadi. The rest of the time depends on where they end up moving him. I'm not sure if they're going to play him at slot or on the outside, so we'll see next episode. As mentioned, Instagram new, link down below, as well as my Twitter and TikTok, where you guys could find a lot more content or news updates about the channel and whatnot. So make sure you're following over there. Let me know who you guys think the player of the week was on both offense and defense. Maybe play of the game, catch the game. You guys can let me know all that fun stuff, and I'll make some cards for it. I'll share those over on Instagram. So until next time, where we play against the Miami Dolphins and continue to test this new defense, make sure you guys subscribe and tick that bell icon so you don't miss out. Just tap my new bear icon on the bottom right-hand side to subscribe, and then find the bell icon so you're notified. This week, potential start, well, actually, 2 potential new starts of series. The Texas State-only challenge. We're in the Super Bowl. If we win, that's the end of that one, and it's voting day the day after for the next state or states that we take over. I also, in the spring sale that happened, either currently still happening or over this last week or previous week, I got a new sports game that we're going to bring to the channel. So look for some updates on that. I will post that in the community tab of this channel as well as over on Twitter. So a new series, a new game coming to the channel. That's exciting. So make sure you guys stick around. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.